Hi everyone. As I catched a big man cold the other week, the second part was delayed. Anyhow, I'm almost good again, so let's dive into this second part of the fishing video. This video will consist of 5 sections. First, the detail regarding the ARCANITE fishing pole. Secondly, I'll go over which schools of fish to keep an eye out for. Thirdly, I'll look into the Booty Bay fishing event. Fourthly, I'll explore the link between fishing and the legendary sword the Ashbringer. Fifthly, I'll look over the more unusual items you can fish up. And because I just lied, sixthly, I'll look at when and where you will catch what. As I stated in part 1, the best fishing pole in the game is the ARCANITE one, except the event from which you can obtain this item is not yet in the game. Why the event is not yet added, I do not know. I do know that I was getting rigorously prepared for winning that event and found out the hard way that there would only be losers that day. Unlike human beings, all fishes are not equally valuable. Some are worth more than others. The more important ones to keep an eye out for are the following. The stone scale eels, used to create stone scale oil, which in turn is used to create tank consumables, such as the elixir of superior defense, the flask of the titans, and the greater stone shield potion. The winter squid is used to cook the grilled squid, which is food that gives you a +10 agility buff for 10 minutes. I'll come back to the winter squid later in this video. The sagefish, the greater sagefish, and the raw knifefin snapper, here listed from least valuable to most valuable. They're all used for cooking to create food, which all do the same thing. Gives a mana per 5 buff for 10 minutes. The sagefish gives 3 mana per 5. The greater sagefish gives 6 mana per 5, and the knifefin gives 8 mana per 5. They can, however, be used at different levels. As I skilled up both fishing and cooking while leveling, I often had some of these foods while doing dungeons. The healers loved me and the dungeons ran a little smoother. Come late game, the raw knifefin snapper is used for healer consumables and is of course the most valuable. Note that the sagefish and the greater sagefish can be caught in schools, while the knifefin cannot. Even though the event isn't currently in the game, as I found out the hard way, it could still be worth learning about the event for when it actually comes. I suppose it comes in phase 2, however that's just my assumption. From what I've gathered, the event starts on Sundays at 1400 server time. A certain goblin will shout out over Stranglethorn Vale that the event has begun, and all pools of fish will turn into speckled tasty fish. They will spawn here, according to the classic database webpage. This is essentially every fishing pool spawn in Stranglethorn. These speckled tasty fish schools seem to respawn quick at 3 minutes, according to the database. I'd recommend choosing a spot with enough fishing schools so that you don't have to mount up. Keep some lures at hand. Once you caught 40 speckled tasty fish, half to Booty Bay, as you of course on beforehand set your hearthstone there. If you are the first one to turn in, you can choose between the fishing pole, the ARCANITE one, and a trinket, which can turn you into a fish, giving you underwater breathing and greatly increases your swim speed. It's what they call nice to have, and exploring the waters of the world could be rather interesting. The link between fishing and the Ashbringer comes from a book, namely the Nat Pagel's Guide to Extreme Angling. The item's tooltip states that the book is missing every page but the last, which read, and so, that's where you will find the legendary sword of the Scarlet High Lord, Ashbringer. Ain't it amazing what you run into an ordinary day of fishing? Some people, back in 2005, thought you could fish up the ashbringer, and so they went fishing. A lot. Hints for the ashbringer can be found in some places, and people went deep in their digging, speculating over where the sword could actually be found. In Legion, where you could obtain different appearances for your artifact weapon, the corrupted appearance for the paladin's ashbringer involved a part where you had to fish from a lake in the Plagelands, as a reference to the speculations that were around in vanilla. There is way more things to say regarding the ashbringer. If you wish to know more, I'd recommend looking at the video The Evolution of the Ashbringer from the late Hayven Games on YouTube. That's a really good video. I said earlier that we would return to the winter squid, and now we will. There are a few fishes in WoW which are seasonal, meaning they can only be fished during a certain time period each year. It seems as if the summer bass has its peak during the summer, but can be fished during spring and autumn, although less frequent. The winter squid peaks during the winter, but can be caught less frequent during spring and autumn as well. However, the winter squid can't be caught at all during the summer, nor can the summer bass be caught at all during the winter. The lightning eel can only be used for one thing in the entire game, besides being fed to pets, I suppose. That is, being turned into the Argent Dawn for quests. Same is true for the plated armor fish. These turn-ins won't be available until phase 5 or so throw them deep into your bank. I'm sure they won't go bad until it's time to use them. There are a number of bloated fishes in-game, such as the bloated smallfish, mud snapper, oily blackmouth, mitefish, and more. These contain gems, or rarely necklaces or rings. I'm afraid these fishes are added in a later phase, however, as I haven't caught a single. But according to WoWhead, people have caught them, so I suppose I just haven't been lucky yet. It seems you can also fish up a bottle with a message inside it, which provides some random scrolls upon opening. These bottles can be found in the 40 brackets once fishing in oceans. Some fishes have varying drop chances depending on when during the day you fish. The raw nightfin snapper has its highest drop chance during 0100 to 0600 and cannot be caught at all during 1200 to 1800. The opposite is true for the poached sunscale salmon. To put it simple, the drop rate for fishes vary with zone and time. Yet again, I find myself having more to say, but feeling like the video is getting too long. I'll just have to make another video talking more about where and when you have the highest chance of catching certain fishes. With all this said, like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more.